Hi guys, I wanted to talk to you about evolutionary trees. We're learning about evolution, and remember that evolution is change in a species, not an individual, over long periods of time, many generations. It happens slowly, and it happens because of genetics and genetic variation that makes some organisms better able to survive when the environment changes. This is what we call an evolutionary tree diagram. So we're starting down here with what we call a common ancestor. Now, I have 4 species listed over here: gorilla, rat, human, and chimpanzee, and they talked about these in your videos that you should be watching in my weekly slide presentations. So if I tell you that we're going to put human here, this is us. This is millions of years ago, moving up to present day. So the time is going like this. If you go back far enough, every living thing on the planet had one common ancestor. 4 billion years ago, the first life on Earth was, a simple bacteria, a single cell organism with no nucleus. Over time, that very simple life has evolved into all the life that we have on Earth by something called speciation, where we make new species. And as time goes by, species diverge or become more different from each other, and evolution continues. We just can't see it happening because it happens so slowly in humans, and we don't obviously live for many generations of our own species. So if I put human here, we're going to think of these 4, who are we the closest related to? Now, this seems like it might be the closest relative to us, but this dot doesn't make it up here to present day. This is a species that's gone extinct. So we have some hominid ancestors that were more like us, but they have all gone extinct. Remember, we are the only member of our genus that is still on the planet, the genus Homo. So maybe this is a like Homo erectus. They have gone extinct, so their line doesn't make it to the present. So that means that this is the thing that is still living today that we have the most recent common ancestor with. That means we would be very similar to them. Are we most similar to the chimpanzee, the rat, or the gorilla? Well, if you paid attention to the videos, you heard that the chimpanzee and the human are the closest living relatives from an evolutionary standpoint. I think something like 98% of our DNA is pretty much exactly the same. Now, if we go back a little bit more further in time, we also share a common ancestor with the rat and the gorilla. Which one do you think was more recent? Who are we more like, a rat or a gorilla? Gorilla. They are also great apes, primates. They have opposable thumbs. They use tools. Now, the one that we have the least in common with is the rat, and that's because you have to go way further back in time to get our common ancestor. All of us do have a common ancestor. We're all mammals. We all have a 4-chambered heart. We all make milk to feed our young. We give birth to live young. We don't lay eggs. We're warm-blooded. We share common characteristics. So you can use evolutionary tree diagrams like this to illustrate evolutionary relationships. Where lines come together are common ancestors. Now, our common ancestor with the chimpanzee, it was not a chimpanzee. It was not a human. It was something in the middle. We separated. The ones that became humans came down from the trees and started walking upright and living on land. And the chimpanzees stayed in the forest, stayed up in the trees, and still move around kind of on all 4s, swinging from branches. So we have different environments, and that selects for different traits.